Hello everybody, I'm DoNotTrustSweeps from MorePleasantGames, and I have come to show you all today how to get Scintilant. I've noticed that a lot of guides out there do not show clearly how to get this resource, so I thought it was a good idea to make a guide myself so you don't have to look around for the correct information. In this video, I will be talking about a few things before I can get started, but I will be putting some timestamps right here in the video to skip to the different parts if you need it. First, I will be showing how the spawn mechanics work on the Cambion Drift, or for any open world for that matter. After that, I will be talking about some info about the Scintilant so you can understand how the mechanics with this resource work and what the different drop sources are. And lastly, I'll be showing how to actually optimally farm Scintilant. Part 1. Open world mechanics. To make this guide work, you have to know about how spawns work in open worlds, like the Cambion Drift. You probably have noticed that every time you enter the Cambion Drift, resources spawn at different locations. It is a game after all, so the locations of resources on the map get randomized again. But what you need to know is that if you were to enter an isolation vault and pick up, for example, Scintilant, and then start a new mission while staying in the Cambion Drift, so without exiting the Cambion Drift, the items in the isolation vault don't get randomized and instead get reset to where they spawn initially in this instance. Part 2. Scintilant Information. Scintilant is a resource that has 3 drop sources. The first is the bounties. Scintilant is a rare reward for the bounties. The second is necromech enemies in the isolation vaults. Both of these options have a low chance of giving you any actual Scintilant and is in my opinion not worth doing. The third and most important method in my opinion is that they can spawn in isolation vaults. Like the wiki says, they act kind of like Cetus wisps, but kind of fly in the different isolation vault rooms. They will also make a noise when you get near them. Note that they do not spawn in the infected areas of the isolation vault. It is this last method we are going to use for this farm. Scintilant supposedly has a 20% chance of spawning, but with Warframe's mechanics there is a good chance it might take more than 5 tries to get one to spawn. There can be up to 2 in one isolation vault, but for this farm, 1 will be enough to get as many as you need in a short time. Part 3. The Loop. So now finally for the farm itself. To start the farm up, you need to do an isolation vault tier 1 bounty to kill a necromech. We're doing this specific bounty since it's the fastest out of the bounties you can do in an isolation vault while also being able to still reset the Cambion Drift. After killing the necromech, look around in the isolation vault for the Scintilant. Like mentioned before, they can spawn in the air and do not spawn in the very infested areas, and they make a sound. Only in the isolation vault tiles they actually spawn. On the first couple tries there's a good chance that you didn't find any Scintilant. No worries, just get back out of the isolation vault, get into the necrolisc, so you reset the Cambion Drift and try again. When you find the Scintilant, you can pick it up and look for an exit. Remember the location of the Scintilant and the exit, since it will drop near that area again in the next loop. After getting the Scintilant, go to Mother, not the one inside of the necrolis, but the ones outside in the Cambion Drift. There should be one just north of the tier 1 isolation vault entrance. Now what you do next is start an isolation vault mission again, but not where you kill a necromech. After completing a tier 2 isolation vault, Mother will show Arcana bounties in the Cambion Drift. These are 4-stage missions just like the ones you would get in other bounties. We won't be completing them though. After starting one, get right back into the isolation vault. No need to do the pesky survival this time since it is an Arcana isolation vault. And rush right towards the place where your Scintilant dropped. Another one should have spawned there. After picking up the Scintilant, use one of the exits and wait for the bounty to fill to get the bounty from Mother in the Cambion Drift again. Rinse and repeat. Lastly, a tip if you are having trouble spotting the Scintilant, equip a mod that has a loot radar on it. Scintilant is shown on the map as a crate and can be more easily found this way, just like with Cetus wisps. And that's it. Scintilant is a super annoying resource to farm in my opinion, and this might not be a super fast method, but it is the fastest out there as far as I know. Good luck with farming that Scintilant and have a pleasant day. Cheers!